Good morning from Wilmington, North Carolina. Is there a Wilmington in Delaware? There's a Wilmington, Delaware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're not there. We're in North Carolina. I'm actually by a lake. Very beautiful. Got off the bus, saw this beautiful lake, and then I saw a sign that said, yes, there is alligators in this lake. So that was exciting. I haven't seen any yet. There's snapping turtles, all kinds of stuff. In a few minutes, I'll take you on a little tour outside. But since I'm getting started early today, like last week, probably take a little while for folks to show up. So I won't go on a little tour just yet. I'll just say hello to you folks. It's an intimate group. It's Ben Coombs, Ryan, Jay Jones, Jeff. What's happening with all of you guys? What's going on? What happened this week? Let's see. We came from outside Atlanta last night, Peachtree City. Played a really fun show. The wind started kicking up at the end. The weather started kicking up. Never rained, but there was a kind of lightning and storm advisory coming through. So we almost had to stop the show early, but it didn't end up happening. We got through our whole set, so that was good. It was really fun. Nice place. I don't even remember where I was before that, to be honest. Tomorrow we'll be in the greater Nashville area, where I'll be hanging for a day. And then after that, we're playing places like, we go to Milwaukee date. We end up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We got about another, I think, 5 shows, maybe 6, 5. How many? Oh, St. Louis. Yeah. So how many more? Maybe 6, 5?
1, 2,
5, maybe.
4, 5.
5, yeah. Wow. And then I'll be headed home. We're having a great time. D-Max says, I liked your rig rundown. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Seeing the venues. Yeah, I'll take you around this one in a few minutes here, too. It's cool. It's like a nice little amphitheater vibe out, and it's very beautiful outside. Take you out there and show you around, as long as the internet doesn't crap out if I walk too far. I'm jonesing for a garnet red Sir Standard. They are great, man. I used one in the last video that I was able to film at home because my guitars were headed out on tour already. So I used my garnet red dual humbucker model, and I still love that one too. They're great. It's an amazing guitar. So anyways, just added Be Yourself to our set list, says Dale. That's an Audio Slave song. What's your favorite capo for electric guitar? It is capoed. That's, it's funny you mentioned that. I never used to play it capoed back in the day. I just used to do it. And I know the bridge is like the dead giveaway, the arpeggiated part in the bridge with the open ringing note on the I guess it's the C sharp, right? On the second fret of the B string, if you learn the part. But I didn't pay attention to that back then. It's just kind of funny. I just figured out a way to play it like with no capo. But yeah. So anyway, your question is, what's your favorite capo? I've been using one of those ones. I'm going to forget the name of it. It's got a G on it in the bottom corner, and it's silver. I'm not being very helpful here because a guy gave it to me at NAMM this year, and that's what I've been using. You press it, and it kind of just the pressure of pressing it. It's really good. I like it a lot. I also like the Planet Waves, which might be kind of the Steinberger design, and the good old Dunlop kind of clampy one with the screw on the back. That's good. Just anything that the only capos I really dislike are the big spring ones that just clamp at a preset kind of tension because they're always out of tune. If you somebody taught me a good capo trick a while ago, many years ago, 15 years ago or something, which is you put it almost on the metal of the fret, just like it's barely behind, not like, so like there's basically no discernible, you can't see the fingerboard, it's almost on top of the fret, but just behind. And when you do that, you can use less pressure and the guitar ends up basically in tune if you use just the right amount of tension on the capo. So that's why I like the adjustable tension, because you can know it. Those clampy ones, man, you're going to be like, it's like 20 cents sharp when you put it on the strings. They're, the ones that just have the big spring. So anything that kind of lets you adjust the tension when you put it on is pretty good to me, honestly. I don't notice there's this huge difference, but yeah, the Steinberger design, the Planet Waves one, it was always really great. It's just got a little like thumb wheel to tighten it, I think, and it seemed to be pretty good. What else you guys talking about? Let's see here. Would you ever use a Strymon Iridium for a tour? It's a really good sounding box, and I know people that use it. My friend Jason Orm, who plays with Alanis, he uses it on Fly stuff, and he really likes it. The only amp that I found that wasn't exactly like I like in it was the Plexi. The AC30 and the Deluxe sounded great. The Plexi sounds really good, but it's a dark kind of Plexi. It's almost like a Nashville-y kind of sounding. You can't really make it as bright as a real, like if you disable the speaker simulation and then you run it, which I tried, I think, and then you run it into, if you were to load down a real Plexi, so it basically becomes a big preamp, and you run it into speaker simulation, which I think I tried, and then if you do the Iridium no speaker simulation, run that into the same speaker sim, it sounds darker, So I like it when the amp sim sounds really, really close to the real loaded down amp, which is what I like about doing the amp sims in the Quad Cortex, is that I basically, most of the time what I do is, instead of doing the capture with the cabinet and the mics and everything baked in, I'll just do the head coming out of the Sur reactive load. And you basically get kind of the head as a big preamp then baked into the capture. And then when you add speaker simulation to that, it sounds really, really close to the real thing. It's basically all the tone is the how much presence there is, how much thump there is. It all stays very similar to the real thing. So that was the only thing with the Iridium. I found it to be, it's like, well, this sounds darker than a real Marshall, but it's a good sound. It's just, it gives you a little bit more, like my buddy Michael Britt in Nashville, great guitar player, and he does Kemper profiles as well as IRs and stuff like that. I think, he likes, when he does a gaining amp, he dials it on the dark side. It sounds like a good for that kind of Nashville kind of thing. I think a little more than like Eddie Van Halen or something, so it's just a different thing. But feel good to be back on the road again. Yeah, it does. I'm right in the swing. We're having fun every day. We're in a good flow, and it's definitely, we're having a good time. So sleeping on the bus well and all that. It's funny, I've been sleeping on the bus exactly like I do at home, which is like these days I wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. and then I'm up for half an hour or an hour, and it takes me a while to fall back to sleep. Do the exact same thing on the bus. Wake up in the middle of the night, I'm up for an hour or something, then I finally drop off back to sleep. And we stay up pretty late. It's like more like I go to bed at 2, sometimes 3 kind of vibe, because we don't roll until sometimes 2 on the bus. So once we start moving, then you start kind of getting ready to go to sleep. So I might sleep till 10, 11, something like that, and then get up. So I guess when I get back to LA, I'll be on LA time. I'll be waking up at 8. It'll be perfect. Yeah. What's this question from Jose? Do you think brands did neck and body matching for resonance on their high-end guitars? Excuse me. Neck and body matching for resonance. I don't know. It's a good question. I know Sir's pretty, like, he taps pieces of wood and he can be like, listen to this is dead, and he'll show it to me in the shop. He's done that a few times. And he has his sort of more theories about like grain patterns and quarter sawn versus flat sawn, and what woods are more resonant, what ones are maybe just more beautiful, and so people like them for that and stuff. But I don't know if they, I think it's more about a consistency of like what's acceptable to use for a neck, probably the weight, the grain. I've shown him things before, like, would you make a neck out of this? Like I've seen necks that have knots in them and things, and certainly he'll go, no way, I would reject that, things like that. So there's a lot of factors, stability, weight, stability, what's acceptable, what's not, and beyond that, I don't think I necessarily like match, things for tone. I will say when I did the wood for, I believe it was my Garnet Red double humbucker signature that we were talking about earlier, I think that was the guitar I was there and sort of selected a fingerboard for. I think that was the guitar. Anyways, I selected it and we looked at different, and he was tapping them and listening, and which ones, I don't know how he does that, but he's got a whole thing that he believes in for listening for some sort of tone with that. And he's a pretty smart guy. So Garnet Red, named after the Canadian amp company. Actually, no, it was a color. It was a car color that I found online. I know the Canadian amp company Garnet, Chris, that you're talking about, but it was we were looking for a paint that candy apple is difficult to paint, and I always like candy apple red, but it's a multi-layer thing with a base, and then there's some gold in it, and then this red clear on it. It's a whole thing, so it makes the guitar more expensive. So I was looking for kind of a one-stop shop as far as like a paint one that you spray, it's just one paint to get that color. And I went online and I found this Garnet Red color from this company, and John said, we'll order it and try it, and they got it, and they made me that guitar. It's the one that you see me play, and it's the same color that's on my new one that I've got out here, and it just looked perfect. He was like, this is great, let's just use this paint. So they get the paint from them. It's whatever the type of it's some sort of of urethane based, wherever they get it from. They're like, yeah, well, this is what we use anyway. So it just worked. But yeah, it was literally me finding it online in an effort to not have to do sort of candy apple in the traditional way. And it totally worked. So let's see. I'm just reading the comments here. Ben says, I use Fender Capos because they're cheap and I lose them all the time. I lose them all the time too. Steven, yeah, G7 Capo. That's the one that I have out here. I can show it to you guys. I'll give it another 20 minutes here, and then I'll go out and give you a little tour outside and stuff. You can see what the venue looks like today, and maybe we can go look at the lake and stuff. Maybe we'll see an alligator. Who knows? Could be a wildlife show today. We'll see. Yeah, for those just joining, I'm in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, and there's a lake with alligators in it outside. How exciting. Okay. Dimarzio, says Eric. Dimarzio Capo, nice design, solid and affordable. Yeah, they make great stuff. All their accessories always seem to be really good. I can get behind those. Rock and Rolling's asking about the Classic Rock Show 2023. Yeah, I should be doing that. I think so. I think I'll be over there. So a whole bunch of dates were just announced. Kind of starting a little bit later in January this time, and then running through April. It's a pretty long run, actually, with a little break in the middle. Let's see what you can see that on their it's on their Instagram. I'm sure it's on their website as well. It's a lot of shows. Here's a question about 112 cabinets. If you had to buy a new 112, what would you pick as sort of good for everything speaker? Well, and I can tell you exactly what I do, because I have a 112 with Sir Signature 112. Strangely enough, I'm not using them on this tour. I'm still using Sir 112s, but I didn't have one of mine when I had to pack my cabs. These things happen sometimes. So I've got two cabinets out here, the Sir 112s with a V30, and then there's a warehouse speaker in the other one that I believe might be a prototype. I think they called it a Grey Wolf. I don't know if they ever made it, but I'm using a combination of the V30 and the Grey Wolf with two 112s. My Signature 112, however, which is my preferred cabinet, just for the reason that you're asking, it's a Creamback H75 style speaker, the Celestion Creamback H75. It'll handle 75 watts, great speaker, and a 112. And those speakers sound, they've got a big sort of flatter response to me than a greenback. They're nowhere near flat, but they have more top, bottom, more everything. They've got more sparkle for clean sounds, a little less of the darker, greenbacks to me always sound a little dark, clean. They don't have quite the sparkle that I like. And the H75 has a bit more of that thing. And the Creamback's a high power version, so it works good in the 112. Dave Friedman likes those Redback Celestians, so that might be another one you want to check out. That's a 150 watt speaker. It sounds a little darker to me, so sort of contradicting what I just said, but it is high power and they do sound good. It has kind of a nice character to it, especially for drive. Other ones you might look at, the what's the speaker? The Creamback or the Alnico Cream. Alnico Cream, if you want an Alnico style speaker, that's a really nice sounding, sweet sounding speaker, I think. And I believe they handle 100 watts, I think. So that's a nice one. But I chose the H75. It's less money too, than the Alnico Cream. So it's a reasonable price speaker. Really good. Is there an advantage to using 2 notes capped or X over a surreactive load and a 2 notes cab M? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, just the form factor of having an all-in-one box is nice. The 2 notes capped or X is a good box. I mean, I use it and I've got one. My favorite load box is still the surreactive load. So, I think 2 notes makes it's a good load box for sure. The Sur to me is just, it's my preference. So actually that with the cab M is a great setup to me. The convenience of the, if you get into the kind of the 2 notes, what's the word I'm looking for? The 2 notes under the umbrella of their Dyne IRs and working within their, their whole situation is you can of course store presets, and then on the front of the captor you've got the 6-position switch, so you don't need your phone, you don't need a computer or anything. Once you've stored the presets in the thing and maybe dialed them in with the app or on an iPad or on the computer, you can store your favorites on a 6-position switch. You could just take the box with you to a gig. That's nice, having that option. I guess they give you the kind of the 1-step attenuator in it too. I haven't really even tried that, to be honest. So I can't comment on how effective it is, but that, I guess for some people, they probably like that feature, for home playing and stuff with a loud amp. But anyways, you basically, if you've got a cab amp and you got a surreactive load, you don't really need to do anything else. You don't need to spend any more money. You've got a great setup there. Okay. Let's see. JJ says he just ordered a PT15. Cool. Looking forward to check out the tones when it arrives. I hope you enjoy. Good amp. Some guy we know made it. There's a fella up in Edmonton there with a super chat. Let's grab that. Thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you, Dale. I've learned more about tone in the last 2 years than in the 20 years prior. I still keep learning too, man. I mean, 100% I do. Love my PT15 IR and Cert Custom HH Classic. That's awesome, man. Did you get it from Stang, I wonder? My friend up there at Stang Guitars at Edmonton. It's a nice shop. He's a good dude. Oh, there's Greg with another super chat. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Much appreciated. Thanks for taking us or talking to us after the show. Oh, yeah. Oh, Greg. Yeah, we just met last night. You were at the show in just outside Atlanta, Peachtree City. It was kind of an amazing place there. It's like this community. I guess it's south of Atlanta, southeast, I think. Pretty sure. And there's a lake there, and there's a lot of beautiful homes all the way around it, and everybody gets around on golf carts. So it's very relaxed with these golf cart paths, but it's busy though. If you're walking those paths with the golf carts, it's like you got to watch it or you'll get run over by an electric golf cart. Kind of crazy, but nice vibes. It's beautiful. Oh, Atomic Punk says used to live in Peachtree City. That's interesting. It's very pretty there. Oh, we were talking about. I wonder how cold it gets in the winter there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Joe says the PT-15 is 3 years old now. You know, I think it's more than that. I think it's. Did we bring it out night? Was it NAMM 19? Maybe it was. I thought it was NAMM 2018, to be honest, but I could be wrong. Which would make it 4 years. I can't remember. Let me think about that. No, maybe that's right. Maybe it was NAMM 2019, and then NAMM 2020 was the one that I missed, where they came out with the non-IR version. That could be right, I think. Maybe it's 3 years. Feels like 4. The time is irrelevant now. I could be 60 years old. It could be 45. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyways, nice to meet you guys last night, Greg there, and after the show in Peachtree. That was fun. There's been a few. There was a couple guys that came out the other night in Raleigh too, I believe, and they had. As I was walking off, I saw them. They had Sir shirts on. They were in the front row. I'm sorry I didn't actually get a chance to say hi to them. So maybe you're watching right now. But anyways, they must have, been possibly, maybe they were Sunday Live fans or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, I gave them a wave at the end, and then I didn't get back out there to say hi. How of a noticeable difference with your Thornbucker 2s with and without metal covers? That's from Mark. If you get the nickel covers, there's barely any difference. The nickel covers add very, very little change of any. The chrome will be a little more and the gold will be noticeable. That's what I would say. And you might like the sound with covers, I think generated to be a little darker is the vibe. John's actually able to measure I don't know if it's capacitance or if it's like he just talked about the measurement showing me before, how the nickel is bare. When we designed the original one, I heard the difference between nickel cover and the non-nickel cover. We would go back and forth in the same guitar and it's like nothing, basically. So that's kind of why we went with the pure nickel, because it's so minimal. You can just choose a cover if you want for the look or not, and you're going to get the same sound. Eventually, my thinking initially was like, don't do any other cover. Like, we don't do chrome, we don't do gold, because I want that tone, to stay intact. And then later on, I was like, oh, somebody might want a slightly darker sound anyway. And if somebody wants the look and they're like, I don't care, I don't mind the trade-off. So I was like, let's just, I'm cool with opening it up to people ordering them with any cover that Sir offers. So yeah. This is interesting. Lauren says Dave said he wanted to try an EV and Celestion combo cab on Tone Talk. Yeah, Dave's got he's got a little bit of a thing for EVs lately. He wants to try. He wants to do a like a 412 with EVs and make a video about it and the difference, because a lot of guys did use them back in the day. I mean, it was like the Zach Wild thing. I think it was Jakey Lee. I think used EVs for a while. It was it was a thing. They're a sound for sure, and it's a different sound, and it's not a sound that I'm entirely familiar with. So I would like to give it a try, see what they sound like. Yeah. What else we got here? Let's see. Marseille, France. What's happening? From Feeling BL. What's going on? I should be over there next month, I think, for the first time in a while. Not in that town, but I think I'll be in Paris for a bit. What do you think of the Friedman Metro D? Found one on. Oh, I didn't even know what that was. Is that that's his guitar? That's a like the Les Paul style. I played he had a couple prototypes in his shop that I played, and I thought it was pretty neat. It might be an alder body. I think it's not exactly like Les Paul woods and stuff. Maybe maple neck and alder body. I'm not 100% sure about that, but It's its own thing, you know, kind of cool. I don't know that I've never plugged one in or anything, so can't really comment on the sound. I guess the neck was pretty comfy and stuff, as I remember. This is interesting. My Sir Classic S sounds fairly dead acoustically, but plugged in at volume, it sings and resonates better than any of my semi-hollows. That's interesting. Well, I guess that's all that matters, right? If you like the sound plugged in. Do you have a preference for fingerboard, maple, or rosewood? I like both at different times. I wouldn't say I really have a preference. I mean, I've got ebony on my new guitar. It's mostly for the look, to be honest. But maple and ebony both have a snappier, faster attack. Probably ebony being the most. Rosewood has a certain, you know, it feels like different under the fingers. It's a little bit more of a, I don't know, it's more porous, and tonally I would say it's probably, maybe it's just like a, it's a slower attack, that's for sure. And maybe that translates as warmth, you know. Ebony's got that faster thing. I mean, my first ebony fingerboard guitar was well, probably not my first. I think my first was actually a Hamer in the 80s, but the one that I've used for the last 20 years or so is my Les Paul Custom, my black Les Paul Custom. And that guitar always had a, you know, it's fairly heavy, and of course, mahogany body, you know, mahogany neck. It's a mahogany neck, mahogany body, ebony fingerboard, maple top. It's got a depth to it and a clarity on the top end that works really good for heavy stuff. That, you know, that it's classic Les Paul Custom kind of, you know, usage, I guess, heavy distortion kind of, you know, they can be a great rock or hard rock guitar. And I think the ebony contributes to that. The gives a little clarity and a little snap on the top end, and kind of a quickness to the tone that you don't get out of a rosewood Les Paul, which has a little slower attack. I think of it as a little woodier, warmer or something. And then when we think of Strats too, you think 50 Strats, they've got a little more twang and snap, but that's partially due to ash bodies too and stuff. And also the maple neck, you know. So I'll go down to the bottom of the chat here. Global audience here today. Yeah, truly. It's nice. Todd says, I got a new Les Paul Jr. the other day. I love its simplicity. Do you own a Les Paul Jr.? You know, I don't right now, but I'd love to have one. I'd love to have an old one or an SG Junior even. I'm a big fan of those. A big fan of the SG Special too. The 2P90 SG Special. I've just played a couple that have been, you know, it's the Pete Townsend guitar to me. When Pete, you know, did his most legendary stuff and had the best, you know, the live leads tone and all that guitar. It's just such a great sounding guitar. So I almost kind of want an SG Special more than I want a Les Paul Jr., to be honest, just for me. But finding a good one is probably a little tougher. One that intonates and where the neck isn't, you know, because the joint is so suspect on those. Joe says, is a 2-amp Variac okay to use with a 71 Marshall 100-watt? That's a good question. It's not a question I know the answer to, but I got a text from John Sir this morning, so I will ask him. Is a 2-amp Variac suitable to use with a 100-watt Marshall? We will get the word from the man. He will tell us. What else we got here? I reckon you should crash other top players' home studios and do amps in the zone for their favorite amps. I would love to do that. And I've talked to a few people about doing amps in the zone with some of their favorite amps. So that's something I would love to do, you know, try and talk like George Lynch or something into it. Maybe he'd be down, you know. He's got a killer amp collection at his studio. Let's see what else we got here. Medicine Hat. Craig's in Medicine Hat. What's happening, man? Up there in Canada. Any recommendations for a mini humbucker to replace a Telly bridge pickup? I'm getting a few questions today I don't have answers to. And John says about the Marshall, he says no, that it's not. So what would you recommend for a 100-watt Marshall? 2 amp isn't suitable, he says. So there you go. You gave me a flat out no. No, he said. No. Let's see. So I'll see what he recommends here in a second. Sorry. So mini humbucker. I would probably go with a Duncan or something if I was looking for one, because I don't know that much about them. I know Lawler has some that people like. I would look at probably Lawlers and Duncans and just pick something from, Seymour Duncans. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like there's a lot of great pickups out. We make a nice pickup, the Thornbucker. There's a ton of boutique winders out there. There's a ton of stuff. If you just needed a great PAF sound, I'll go ahead and say it. An Antiquity would work great. Go get one at the store or whatever, and it's a good, solid. Seymour makes great pickups. So if I was looking and I was just like, where do I start with mini humbucker? I would probably look for a nice, vintage, whatever. Maybe there's an Antiquity version of a mini hum. I don't know, but that's where I would start, and try it and see if it works for me. I've still got guitars with Seymours in them, and they're great pickups, So I don't think Sir makes a mini hum. Maybe they do, but I don't think so. So can't recommend one of those if they don't make it. John Sir mentioned that his favorite guitar is an old Les Paul Jr. Yeah, he loves them. He's a big Leslie West fan. So need to try his P90s. I'm sure they sound amazing. Yeah, it makes nice P90 for sure. Being that he's a huge Leslie West fan, that's a really important sound to him as well. So, he's got a 59 double cut Les Paul Jr. that he bought a while back. So he's a fan of those. Really enjoyed your live rig with Five for Fighting video here on YouTube. Thank you, Rick, and thanks for the super chat. Very kind of you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. It was a quick and easy thing to do. I'll take you guys on a little tour of the stage here in a second. We got almost 300 online. So just answer another super chat here, and then you guys can see the stage today. And if you want to ask me any questions when we go out there, we can do that because the internet will work great out there. So I'll head out in about 5 minutes and do that. And maybe I can show you the lake too. And who knows, maybe we'll see an alligator. There's alligators in the lake out back, evidently. T-Top, what's up? He says, have you ever experimented with any room correction software in your studio? No, I haven't. Just got the SonarWorks stuff, and it's a game changer. Well, maybe I should check it out. I'm pretty comfortable in my room. I mean, I love it, and I don't have any issues in there. So, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't. That it couldn't be better. I'm sure it could. But I appreciate that. SonarWorks. I'll have to remember. So one more thing to think of. But do you use a reference mic or something to like shoot sound around the room and then it reads and I don't know, something? I've got like a TC30K from Earthworks. That's a pretty accurate flat reference mic. I could probably use that. My brother has Kotzen pickups in a Telly. They are hot and trebly, but very rock. That sounds rock to me. John says, Fralin Pure PAF have been my favorite PF style. Dethroned Seth Lovers. That's cool. I mean, yeah, Fralin's well known for making great pickups, right? Stealth Parrot says, where's Pete today? I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's beautiful outside. So I'll take you out in just a few minutes here and show you around. Today's an early show. We have an early sound check. So I think I'm going to be doing Sunday Live right up to sound check, I think, basically, because we've got to be done by, I think it's a hard 9 p.m. curfew today. So our show happens 7:30 to 9 or something. Do you use Filtertrons? I have them in one guitar. Do you have a favorite? I once a lot of questions today about stuff that I don't have that much experience with, but my only Filtertron guitar is I've got a TV Jones in a Trissart. It sounds great to me. It's a neck TV Jones. If I was gonna, I kind of have a hankering for a Gretsch, and I would like a Brian Setzer model, which has the hot kind of, a hot TV Jones style, I think. And I would look at TV Jones because they're the experts in. I'll tell you this: I have TV Jones PAF style humbuckers. The only one that he makes outside of a Filtertron, I think, is this PAF, Gibson style humbucker in my Destroyer, because he used to own my Destroyer, the TV Jones guy, 20 years ago. Then he sold it to another guy. It had his pickups in it when he sold it to the other guy. I bought it from the other guy who had it 20 years. And those pickups sound awesome. So TV Jones, I've tried those, and I've tried the one in the neck on my Tressart, which sounds very cool. So I would stick with those. They seem really good. Yeah, are you guys carrying your own PA or boards? Not PA, but boards, Digico boards for monitors and front of house. Yeah. So Sir says 10 amp for a Variac for the Marshall. That's what he would recommend. 10 amp Variac for a 100 watt Marshall. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hello from Sweden. What clean combo amp would work great with the Coco, Shiba, and Riot? Well, the Bella would be the since you've got all the Sir stuff going on. That's what John kind of uses to for should be good for recording in bedroom. Yeah, Bella. I would go with that. It's a great, clean, beautiful pedal platform amp. That's why you made it, because you've got a 3-way bright off and 2 position. So you could really tune it in with drives. I think there's a lot of guys out there that would concur. The Bella, either in head or combo form, just a great pedal platform amp. That's what it is, really. It's a terrific sounding amp. I mean, you can turn it up and it sounds great on its own. There's a little bit of Dumble kind of lineage going on in there with that amp, I think, and it's just a terrific sounding amp. So I have one. It's a beautiful sounding. Just saw Anita Strauss join Demi Lovato and Britney. They sounded awesome together on Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, Anita's playing guitar in the band. They've been rehearsing nonstop, and they're going to go on tour. So pretty quick here. They've been working hard. Brit's loving it, having a great time. Playing with her friend Nita. Also her best friend, Leanne, is on bass. So it's I told her, it's like, you got a dream situation you're playing, because the music's really good. The rock sound of the new album is really cool, I think. And she's a great singer. And she's in a band with all her friends. It's like, you just landed a sweet situation, You can go out and play rock with all your girlfriends and have a good time. You guys want to go on a little tour outside? We got 316 people online. Why don't I wait until 11? I don't want to make you wait. You've been here. Okay, 10 more minutes, and then we'll go up. I'll give you a little tour of the venue and the lake outside and stuff. Just wait a few more minutes, because I figured most people, they got used to me. Well, YouTube, it's important to be consistent, and I'm not being consistent right now, but I just can't be, because my regular start time would fall right when we're sound checking. So that's why I had to start early last week, and then next week I'll be home, I guess, which is crazy. Am I really home next week, or am I traveling home? See, I think next week I'm traveling home, so that's going to be a problem. It always seems like I travel on Sundays, and then it screws up Sunday Live. But I think that's right. I think in a week, see, the 14th, that's the day I got to come home. So it might be an airport Sunday Live or something, when I'm on a connection or something, which works. Those are kind of fun. I did one of those with Dan Spree once. I'll look at the time and I'll figure it out, make it happen one way or another. Or I'll have to, do it on Monday or something. But anyways, trying to stay consistent. If I'm home, it's not hard. Let's see. Any suggestion on how to not lose all inspiration once you hear the metronome, just as you start recording with a DAW? So the time bothers you? To me, I find it comforting, and I like it loud generally, because it's like a little safety net. Like, I'm not hunting for the time. Time is important to me, like really important. So feeling it there and having like the no, or at least a drum groove, if a metronome is bothering you with a DAW, maybe you would find it more inspiring to play with a drum groove. So a shaker, or, even if it's not drums you're going to keep, dialing up some sort of drum beat to play to instead of a metronome, you know, you can just have a drum loop going for time, and maybe that's more inspiring. So that'd be my number one thing. And then you can get rid of it and your guitar will still be in time. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? Billy Duffy White Falcon also has hot filtertrons. That's cool. Billy Duffy's cool. I like him. Seems like a good dude. Never really met him. But Dave likes him a lot. Dave Friedman. He was on Tone Talk a while back. Okay. Check out the Dimarzio Eric Johnson pickups. Very Gretsch sounding. Really? That's interesting. The pickups that Eric was sort of known for using, at least, for the long time, it was an HS2 in the bridge of his Strat with only one coil wired, I think. Kind of interesting. Because it's a humbucker, right? It's a split coil, but he would just use one coil. So he'd use it like a humbucker. I think that was the thing. He had 2 stock Strat pickups and then that in the bridge, I think was his deal, right? I think. Your Sir signature cab has 2 G12H75. It sounds awesome. What was the idea behind choosing those? The awesome sound. I'd listened to a whole bunch of speakers, all Celestians, but greenbacks, V30s, M greenbacks, 75 greenbacks. I've listened to the Creamback Neo, all those different speakers, and the ones that sounded the best. Tried blends, the whole thing, and the ones that sounded the best were always the 2 creambacks together. It was just like, there it is, it's all there. Like, it sounded very like great cleans. Go to the dirty channel, it sounds great. Sounds great for rock. Sounded good for heavier stuff. Just the most versatile. And then you've got a 150 watt power handling cabinet. That's nice in a 212, and it just kind of worked. Yeah, good sound, high power handling, reliability, all that stuff is why we chose. Gonna buy an amp to go with a pedal. That's rockstar level. Well, funny enough, that's what a lot of people do these days, right? Like they got their pedals and then they go, what's a good pedal platform amp? It's kind of turned on its head. It used to be you pick the amp first, pick the guitar first, then the amp, and then you add a couple pedals to augment. I mean, that's the way I sort of think still. But a lot of people are like, here's my pedal board. Look, it's amazing. It's the size of the Starship Enterprise. Now I need an amp and I'm going to turn it up to 1. Right? And like kind of with a lot of guys, like any old amp will do. It seems like there's an attitude like, oh, as long as it's clean, I'll get nothing wrong with them, but I'll get a Hot Rod DeVille, or I'll get a Deluxe, or I'll get put it on 1 because the sound man says I'm too loud otherwise. Right? Isn't that right? Nobody turns up their amps anymore. He's a sound man. He's not listening to me. I'm talking about, okay, so you're a good guy to actually ask about this. With amps, do you find a lot of guitar players are like way more pedal based these days, and then they got their deluxe reverb or their little combo and they turn it up to like 1, and then all the sound is coming out of the pedals?
Yeah, I see more of that.
More of that, right?
Yeah.
Like where it's like real pedal based.
Yeah, there's a lot more people doing that. There's also some people that won't do that. Still on my cab and
Get it louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pedal board is the thing now.
The pedal board is the thing.
And then it's like, and a lot of sound guys, I think in places would be like, amp's too loud. And it'll be like a deluxe on like 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it used to, right? It's just kind of like, I don't want to go down that road on this because I've talked a lot about that on this show. But, I don't even like to play that loud on set. Like where my cabs are pretty, on this tour, I'm, using 2 112s on stage. And I just kind of turn, there's no monitors on stage except, well, John has some, but there's no drums in them. It's just piano and vocal, I think. And I've got a wedge. Sometimes I'm using ears. Sometimes I'm using the wedge. Sometimes I don't have a wedge. It depends because I'm using local. It's only if the local place has them. We didn't carry an extra one from me on this tour, so I'll use in-ears if there isn't any available. But anyways, the point being, stage volume is really controlled. You've got a quiet bass amp on stage, just the drums acoustically coming off the drum riser. And then I've got a couple 112s, and I just turn them up until they sound about balanced with the drums acoustically. And that's how I like to play. So, but yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really happy with it on this run. But Art says Andy Wood gets great tones with the Bella and pedals. He sure does. that's kind of one of his main rigs. I mean, I know he's got other amps. He's got diesels, different things that he uses sometimes for different things. But one of his main things he does is bellas and pedals, and he does, you know, that's his core thing. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see, 36 gigs from January to mid-March 2023. Isn't life meant to get easier for the more mature gent? Is that how many it is? 36? That's actually not that many. I thought it would be more than that. Is that the Classic Rock Show that you're talking about? I think it probably is. I thought it would be around 40 or something, but it's 36 is really doable over, 2 months. So when you're out there, it's better to play than not. I like days off, but I mean, I kind of like 3 in a row and then a day off, and then 3 in a row and a day off, 2 in a row and a day off, 3 in a row and a day. That's good for me. Keeps you busy. Otherwise, you get bored, real easy with too much free time. It's good to work. If you're going to be out, it's good to play. Like the playing's not the work, it's everything else. It's all the travel or whatever. That's the work, the gig is super fun. They pay you to travel. They don't pay you to play. That's what I always say. Okay, do you guys want to go outside and take a look at the venue? We got 324 people online. Let's go take a look around. See what it looks like today. This is the lovely dressing room. Fantastic. All glamour all the time on the road. Let's go out here. Try and not drop the computer. That would be a disaster. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot outside. Oh, there's a super chat. Let me grab that before I, let's see. Before we go outside, I'll grab that so that I don't miss it. Getting a Marshall sound out of a black panel Fender is a myth, no matter what box. Well, yeah, you're never going to get a closed back cabinet. It's more the cabinet, man. I mean, because if you've got a Fender nice, basement or whatever, a Sir Riot or a small box Friedman or something into the amp can sound amazing if it's plugged into the same speakers, but it's really the cabinet that's hard to replicate. You can kind of get close, but it's never going to sound exactly like a closed back 412. That's just physics, I think. So I do think, plugged into the Fender channel of my PT100 with a nice drive, if it's the right pedal, I can get very, very close to the channel 2 sound. I've already shown that in videos, I think. If you watch my video on, did a video called How to Use Distortions once, and it was all about plugging into darker or brighter clean channels with the right pedal. I showed a plexitone into a dark channel and an atomic overdrive into a bright channel, and how those pedals were tuned for the different amps. So, and then if you're plugged into the, a Marshall cab or something, it basically sounds right, All right, here's the venue today. So it's a nice little amphitheater vibe. Mr. Randy Cook's drums. Oh my God. There. 18 different pairs of in-ears. And looks like maybe no wedge today, so I might be in-ears today. Yeah, I just come out and see if it's out here. Or maybe there is one. I don't know. It's still early. Somebody asked about consoles. So yeah, we're carrying 2 of those Digico jobbies for front of house and monitors. But PAs are all local. Every venue's got like a nice line array. Although the other night they had a real tiny PA that when we were playing in Raleigh, but it still sounded good. It still sounded cool. Internet's working good out here. This is cool. All right. What? Let me know if you guys got any kind of. Well, somebody's played there. Fishbulb says, "I think I've played there." Yeah, let me know if you got any questions about any of this stuff that's like related to the rig rundown or anything like that, and I can answer them for you. For sure. If there's power yet. See, I'm starting to think about my job over here, and I'm thinking I gotta charge my in-ears unless shit's not plugged in yet. Probably not yet. Hey Sam, do you know if there's power yet?
There should be. We just haven't put it on.
Yeah. Just want to get my ears charging and stuff. I wonder if I can get that plugged in somewhere. Sorry, I'm at work now. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Power conditioners on, matrix. Turn that off. There we go. Thank you for hanging out with me while I tweak. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I do have a wedge today. That's okay. Not picky, as long as it makes rock noise.
I think it'll be good.
You guys saw this fella Sam in my rig rundown. He's awesome. He's doing killer monitors for us.
Sure.
I like that he makes small moves. This up or down, that up or down. It's always the right move. You're just like, yeah, 2 dB. It's like, I love it. It's rare. And it's hard on these boards. Because I've done it myself, moving the faders on these boards when you want, a little more snare drum, a little less. And the faders are real touchy. They're like, they seem to me to be like kind of short throw. Like
They are. That's
real.
why you'll see me look down when you ask for change. Because I'm looking to make sure.
Get real subtle with it.
Looking at the dB change.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Jim says you don't need to tilt your 112s, no hockey stick. You know, I stand far enough forward on the stage. I thought about doing that, but they're actually just fine. And then I get about an equal amount in my in-ears or in my wedge. So I don't really need to do the tilting thing, I find. You know? It's Ben Coombs, hashtag touch my faders. Yeah. Craig's recommending a little baby powder on the left hand every few songs. You know, I've thought about starting to do that because it's so humid. Although it doesn't seem to be as hot today as yesterday, but like the humidity is maybe a little lower here than it was yesterday in Georgia. But yeah, that sticky thing is, Sean Hurley uses fast fret on his guitars. Just reading any, do a Soundman gear rundown. Well, the funny thing about that is that there's really not that much to it anymore. It's a lot of sort of local stuff that you tap into, and then these new boards are it's this Digico board. All the EQs and compression and everything's all built into the console, and so everything's in there. You know, you don't see any more. Some guys bring big tours. They'll have racks of analog stuff, that compressors and things that people like to use. But generally speaking, it's all coming out of one of those these days, both front of house and monitors, So it's interesting. Nerd Halen says, I use the powder. Do you? That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try. Arch says, would coated strings help? Maybe. Yeah, good question. I don't know. John uses them on his acoustic. This guitar right here has lectures on it. I should probably move this out of the sun. John's acoustic here. Get baked in the sun a little bit. So this guitar is John Ondrazek's Martin.
Do you just home run that line?
You know what? I don't know if the coated really, because it's only the wound strings, right? And I feel it on the plain strings more, like the drag on the wound strings is there too, but the drag on the plain strings is what really, on the first and second when you're trying to solo, that drives me crazy. Let's see. How have the necks been doing on outdoor high humidity? I need to make an adjustment on this Supro. It seems to be back going a little, and I'm using it on slide. and it's like really hard to play slide on right now, to be honest. And I think it's because I got to raise the action and maybe loosen the truss rod. Other than that, my guitars, they're holding up amazing, man. The Sirs, like I did a little loosen on the truss rod the other day on my red one, just because it was almost straight instead of like I like a little bit of relief, and it had gone about straight. So a quarter turn, not even, and it was fine. So that's roasted maple for you. It just works really well. What's a couple faves off the set list? New York City Weather Report. I love that song. It's a really great vibe. Love the guitar parts, and it's just a cool tune, real dynamic tune. Fun to play a solo on. Yeah. What else we got here? And you guys got lots of good recommendations here for. Tim says, "Wish I was out playing gigs." Use deodorant spray on your hand. That's interesting. I've never tried that. Spray on antiperspirant. That's interesting. I never tried that. Somebody said dry shampoo for humidity. Let's give that a try.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay. Don't worry about it.
What humidity do you keep your studio at? I don't actually do anything special in the studio. California is really consistent. It's just a dry place. It stays that way all year. So, yeah. Can you get an amazing big airy drum sound in a smallish studio? You kind of have to do it electronically. I would say, using plugins or, reverb, room stuff. I mean, there's great plugins like, these days, Ocean Way Studios, for instance, incredible plugin for getting big studio sound in a small place. Oh, there's a super chat there. I better grab it. I was going to take you guys out and show you the lake. Maybe we'll see an alligator. I doubt it, but thanks for the interesting tour rig rundown. I think adding the PT100 to my amp collection. Has the Channel 1 mod become standard on your signature amps? Channel 1 mod. There's no mod to the PT that was anything that's been done recently. The PT100, excuse me. Only just the PT15. It's a different clean channel than the PT100, but the PT100 has remained consistent for many years now. Since about 2014 or 15, the circuit is unchanged. So channel 1 will be, just that great big OD style clean that John does. It sounds so good. This is out back here. Look at this. You guys see alligator? It's the band. You saw an alligator? No way. Cool. Fantastic. Sean Hurley, I think, got a picture of an alligator. Show us your photo.
Well, it's very hard to see.
Is it?
Well, look at all those turtles.
Oh, wow. Can I borrow that for a second?
Yeah. You won't be able
Turtles.
to see the alligator.
Hey, Sean, send me the best alligator.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Those are all blobs.
That's amazing.
I'll see if I can get the alligator for you.
All right. Yeah. So the lake is back here. I don't want to get too far away from the Wi-Fi or it's going to slow down, but I'll give you an idea what it looks like out here. It's really gorgeous. There's the bus and trailer. And then when I woke up, I got out to this today, and there's a beautiful lake over there. You can go hang out. Pretty cool. Still got 5 bars of Wi-Fi here, so go over here by the lake and see if it stays consistent without dropping off. It's pretty. It's one of the most fun things is waking up and getting off the bus, and then you end up just like, oh, this is cool. You never know where you're going to be every day. Tour's fun that way. Oh, is there turtles right there? Really?
The little one.
Oh, yeah, I can see him in the... Is that right?
Yeah, the little one that jumped in is named after every last Ninja Turtle. The other two that are on there are called the Bully Brothers.
Is that so? They live right here, and you see them every day.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Sometimes you'll see a 10-foot gator swim across the back.
A 10-foot gator.
Yeah.
Really?
And then today we saw a baby 3-foot one. He was really cute. But there's like a female, it's about 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
I mean 6 foot long.
Yeah.
She's here too
Really?
on this side.
So a whole family.
Here, there's a bunch in here.
That's
Like,
so
if
cool.
I see one, I'll try to flag one of you guys down so you can see it.
Call them over. Hey, come see the guy.
Yeah, there's a way to call them too.
Is that right? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but only the females come because they think the baby's in distress.
Oh, probably not a
Kinda
good
like
idea.
That sound. Right
Really?
there. Uh-huh.
Amazing.
I'm just looking, making
Yeah.
sure no mamas are coming now.
All right, I'll come back.
What's your name, bud?
Pete.
Pete.
Yeah.
Beetle.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Yeah. A little bit of wildlife today on the show. Different than the studio in LA, right? Why not? All right. You should do a nature show. Crikey, says Nerd Halen. I know. Pretty interesting. All right, I'm going to head back into where I was. Oh, here comes Randy Cook, drummer to the Stars. Say hi to the whole band today. How was your walk? You saw some turtles?
And alligator.
There he is. Just look at him. My Canadian brother.
Right here.
Randy played for years with Kim Mitchell. Who else in Canada?
Rick Emmett, Sash Jordan,
Rick Emmett.
Alana Miles,
Man, you've done it. What's this bug flying around?
Mark Jordan, Amy Sky.
You worked with Nelly Furtado too, right? Didn't you?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought you played with her for a while on tour. God, what is up with this thing flying around my... Anyway, there he is. He's so good. He's so good. Like a big pillow of groove every night. All right. See this dog over here? Just chilling in the heat. She's super cool.
People are gonna call the police if you don't wake up.
All right. We're going to go in this other dressing room. This is Verb Pipe's dressing room, which I'll borrow for a minute just because the guys are back from their nature walk. So I'll grab a cup of coffee here. I'll sit back down and we'll hang some more. So it was good?
It's cool. Yeah.
I'm going to go back in there.
Beautiful.
That's the verb pipe, but
I know, but yeah, so it was cool?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah?
It's beautiful. Trees, and water, turtles, birds.
Amazing. Amazing.
But it was hot and it was long.
Yeah. Just in a second in someone else's dressing room because it'll be quieter. All right. What are we talking about? Back to gear. Guitars. Rick Emmett. Yeah, Randy used to play with Rick Emmett. Randy kind of played with it like everybody up in Canada before moving to LA. I don't know when he came, probably late around 2000, something like that. He moved to LA. But yeah, he worked with Rick Emmett. He worked with Kim Mitchell. He's on the Kimosabi record, I think is the one. I think that's what it's called. And Kim Mitchell's greatest hits. And he's an amazing drummer, man. His groove it's ridiculous. Like his pocket is just ridiculous. Yeah. So who else we got here? I didn't think there were gators that far north. I guess there is. They saw one on their walk. Yeah, yeah. That guy has no idea the legend he was talking. You mean me talking to Randy? He's a legend. Anyone know where Pete is? So I'm in North Carolina today, Wilmington, North Carolina. And super chats there. I got to make sure I grabbed them all. Thanks, Pete and John Sir, for info on the Variac. Would I use a 10 amp Variac when using a Fryette PS100? Yeah, it doesn't matter because you're going to Variac the Marshall, right? And then go into the Fryette. So, yeah, I would recommend for sure a what John says, 10 amp to handle the Marshall. Yeah. Live string hack. Use fast fret followed by a shoestring under each string. Strings last forever. A shoestring under each string? Life string hack. I don't get it. A shoestring under each string. Don't get it. How are you going to put a shoestring on your string and it's going to make sound? I don't understand, but I want to. Or maybe you're just kidding. Anybody have a great idea for a nice single coil to go with Thornbucker? I mean, I use the V63. I love it. That's a greasy sounding, nice sounding Stratty pickup. That's what I like in my guitars. Yeah. How do you organize your hundreds of pedals? I do have a lot of pedals. I just keep them in bins, and then I made a Google Doc. Actually, I didn't do it. Britt did it. Google Doc of where they all are. So I'm looking for one. I can go down the dock and go, here it is. And this, just kind of, and then you pull out the bin, and there they are. What is your go-to overdrive on your pedal board? The one you might say you can't live without? The main drive that I use is an Archer for solo boost and stuff. But I don't really use it for rhythm. I use it for to boost the lead channel of my amp. I do like to have an overdrive that's kind of a ampy. Like I always think of the Timmy or the Jan Ray as a nice alternative to have on a board for a kind of light rhythm drive. The other one people like a lot is the Nobles. And I have a Bell on my board that is kind of the Wampler version of the Nobles. It's really similar to the Nobles. It just has a tunable low end. So you got more control over the bass. I figure let's go outside and sit out by the stage. We keep mixing up the views here. Why not? We like to keep it exciting around here. But yeah, I like to have one drive for a solo boost, and then another drive that is a rhythm kind of grind.
I just need to right here to get right. I'll get it set up. Cool. Thank you, man.
Wi-Fi's good out here. So. I've got a front row seat. Ready for the show. Here's the situation. The Rev Rock Concert Series. It's nice out here.
You just set it on the ground right here so you drive it on.
Overcast now, so not in the direct sun, at least for the moment. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. I'm late, says Niles. No, I'm early. It's not you, it's me. You can watch the replay if you like. I did a little venue tour. We went out by the lake. Got a little education in the local wildlife. That was cool. I put the Wilkinson locking saddles on my old Sir Pro series this weekend. Stays in tune great. I was amazed at the improvement in tone. That's the thing about it, is that they actually sound really great. They're not just. It's not just about the tuning stability. The saddles sound good. It's really resonant sounding when you put them on the guitar, right? And it's like, whoa, like it sounds good. So it's cool. Thanks for recommending the Boss Waza Air last week. I took your advice. It is amazing for practice. That's awesome. So you got these are the headphones that Boss makes that you can use. It's got a little wireless guitar transmitter that sends the guitar signal up to the headphones, and you can Bluetooth the headphones and play tracks through them, and it's really cool. Yeah, they're really neat. What's your favorite 3 single coil Strat pickup set, I would probably just go with the V63s, you know, with the calibrated. I like those singles a lot, the Surs. So I will say I've got a Strat set in my blue Sur that is actually made by my buddy Ron Ellis, and he makes a really nice Strat set too. So those are great too. Ron Ellis. I'm not sure the exact model. He can tell you what he gave me if you send him an email.
Console crashed. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Braxall says, have you ever done a guitar smash on stage? No, I've never broken a guitar on stage. Yeah. Joe Neiman says there was an alligator, but an inflatable one in his pool today. That's cool. Let's see. Reading all your comments here. Okay, I'm going to head down to the bottom of the chat. Showing up at a venue, how long does it typically take to set up a stage? So if you look at what's here, it's basically local crew and then 3 fellows working, and they got all that done in about, what time is it right now? 2:12. So in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, they set up all the, you know, there's us 4 guys, bass, guitar, drums, keys, the monitors, and then that fella up there by the piano right now, he's the lighting fella, and he sets up all those, you know, we're using some local lights, obviously, but also our own little rigs. He gets all those set up. It only takes about, 20 minutes or something to dump the trailer, and then to set up everything is, I would say, 2.5 hours, something like that, to get to the place where you can start making noise. Maybe 3 hours. Yeah. To say Seymour Duncan can make an EVH 78 for a telly, so they tell me. Like a baby 78. Now it just got hot. That sun came out. It's a little gnarly. I'll get up and move in a minute. Console crash. Oh, the joy of digital boards. You get recognized much just from you guys. Generally it's people that are like, yeah, I watch you every Sunday, that kind of thing. So, which is always nice. It's always nice to make friends and meet people. I gotta get out of that sun. It's really hot. Find something to sit on over here. How about a Pelican case? And the computer can go here. Sure. Those Ron Ellis pickups on your telly sound awesome. Yeah, Ron makes a nice pickup for sure. He's got a great reputation for also humbuckers. I mean, he makes just good all the way around, His telly pickups are killer for sure. Do you ever think you are using too many effects or pedals? Because sometimes I do. It's amazing what you can get away with. Like, my sound is really wet on this tour, and nobody's told me to dry it up. And sometimes I hear it and I go, man, that sounds wet. But then I hear it in the mix and it sounds great. So I think sometimes I err on the side of not enough effects, actually. When it comes to how wet you can get and be, I'm using reverbs and like stuff that when I wanted to do some really nice ambient. This, firefighting music, there's guitar in it, but it's based around piano, really, and then which can fill a lot of space. So your job is to fill the space around that with tasty kind of fills and little rhythm guitar and the occasional solos and stuff. So you can get away with the ambience. I think it's really gig dependent, really gig dependent. Have you ever had gear stolen? Knock on wood. Luckily, not really. I've been very lucky with that kind of thing. Do you prefer being the only guitarist in a band? You know, I like both. I'm a team player. Like I like working with people, and it's nice to be in a band where if there's two guitar players, there's not competition, and you complement one another, and it's obvious what each person should do. You know, I love that. I don't like the vibe when somebody is like, "Well, I'm the lead guitar player, you know, and that's my role, and you're going to do this other thing," and they kind of, you know, that bullshit is just to me so annoying. When they see it as their sort of, you know, but luckily I sort of feel like I've moved past any of that in my career, because it's like if somebody's hiring me, they know to, you know, frankly, they know who you are. They know, you know, once you've been in the game a long time, they know what your skill set is. They know what you're there to do. They're going to be respectful, you know, and that just comes with time. But yeah, I've done plenty of gigs where there's, you know, this vibe, like somebody's got something to prove, or they want to be the man, and, you know, they want to, you know, that kind of thing. It's always drove me crazy, because I'm all about like, hey, why don't I do what I'm good at and you do what you're good at, and we'll each kind of share the, I'm about the 50-50 vibe, you know, to be honest. Really am. You know, that's important to me. I know I keep moving around, but just trying to find a different vibes back here. Keeps it interesting. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Welcome to North Carolina. If you guys have time, you should definitely visit the USS North Carolina. I don't think we will have time. I think we have a long drive after we leave here tonight. Long drive. What's your favorite Dimarzio humbucker pickup neck bridge? You know, I don't really have one, but I would have to say, because I don't have a ton of experience with Dimarzios. I have a little bit, but I would say, just because I would love a Music Man Axis one day, and those have the Dimarzio made, or, you know, the Eddie Van Halen model Axis or EVH guitar. Those have a Dimarzio set in them. I would love to have one of those guitars with those pickups in them. They always sounded good to me in that guitar. And I love a super distortion just because of the Eddie Van Halen thing, you know. So, yeah. What are those park cans behind you? There's those. Those aren't really park cans. I think those are more like the very lights, aren't they? I don't know that much about lights, but they're the. I don't think. I think they're more like the, you know, you can make them any color and all that. Yeah. Yeah. What else we got here? Full band will wash out a lot of the ambience. Yeah, that's true. That's what happens once the piano kicks in. You know, or even John strumming acoustic guitar, because he plays acoustic on a bunch of songs too. It tends to, you know, you can play long notes and have them, you know, and somebody else is doing the rhythm, right? And or on the piano, you've got a lot of harmonic stuff going on, the space, and if you just play simple and let the notes, it kind of makes more of a bed or whatever, and it's kind of cool having all the like more ambience. Yeah. Steven says, this is with regards to the shoestring thing. Use a shoestring and wrap around each individual guitar string, then run the string up and down the neck a few times. Do it after using fast frets. So it just distributes the fast fret? Is that the thing? Do you prefer indoor or outdoor venue? I like both. Depends on the individual venue. Although like last night was really fun playing outside, although it was hot as hell. It's gonna be hot today too. Hot tonight. Hopefully, it's like a nice fan back here. Maybe we can get some of those going on stage. Although the only thing about fans, you guys ever notice that sometimes fans, because they have the kind of, like you can maybe hear this one whirring away here right now, I'm not sure, but they can create a weird thing with certain notes. Like you play a note and then you hear it rubbing against it because the fan's making a pitch. It's so weird. I've noticed that before. It's strange. And it can really mess with your head if you don't realize what's happening. Like when a fan's on like AC in a certain room and it'll be humming away, and then you'll play and it sounds like a note is out of tune, but it's because it's like beating against the note of the
the fan that's going. It's crazy. I know, weird. It drives me crazy. Let's see. Schedule permitting, the Tim and Pete show needs to make a comeback. I would love to do more with Tim one of these days. I had fun seeing him at Sweetwater a month or so ago, maybe a little more, a month and a half ago. There's a super chat there from Cheers Pete, from Tim Porter. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Vincent says, Pete, which model Taylor are you playing? It's the Builder's Edition 517, I do believe. I mentioned it in the gear rundown. I'm just having an issue with the pickup. No fault of Taylor's. It's an aftermarket pickup, I think, that was added to the guitar. It's a LR Bags, and I think the saddle's just not totally flat on the guitar. So, unfortunately, the G and the D on the guitar sound much quieter than the E strings, the outer strings. So I'm using this Washburn that I brought out. I'm really glad I brought it, because otherwise I would have had to, be singing Guitar Tech or something. Loud pink noise going on out there through the PA. Anyways, that EVH Dimarzio was the tone zone. I don't think so, actually. I'm gonna have to go somewhere where it's a little more quiet. I don't think it was the tone zone. I think it's similar. I've actually heard the closest pickup to the EVH was the Andy Timmons. I do believe. A little quiet. The Andy Timmons model. That's what I've heard. And if you look at the specs, you might see that checks out. I've heard the tone zone is close too, and that it's close to the, but I'm not an expert in Dimarzio, so you guys might know better than me. Your pedal review videos are the best. Thank you. They help a lot when choosing which pedal to buy. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Greetings from Brazil. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I've got another one I need to make, and maybe I'll work on it a little bit today, but it's for a Strymon pedal. I'm going to get that done. And then I'll be back home soon and can make more in a couple weeks that I'm home at the end of August. Randy says the EVH Dimarzio was not the tone zone. The TZ is the closest pickup you can buy. Is that the Andy one? Guitars, how many are you carrying? 5. 2 Sir Electrics, the Supro for slide, a Taylor, and a Washburn, an old Washburn that I'm playing on one song. Yeah. Jay's talking about the gig that we're doing in Malta next month with Classic Rock Show. Malta's off the coast of Sicily, not really far if they were playing Italy anyway. Actually, we're not. We're playing Malta. That's the only place we're playing. We'll fly from London to Malta and do one show there, and then I'm going to go to Guitar Summit, I do believe. At least that's the plan for now. Travel in Europe's a little crazy right now, but if all goes well, I'll be in Malta, and then I'm going to head to France for a minute, and then head over to Germany for Guitar Summit back home by the 3rd week or so of September. Do you ever suffer from stage fear? If so, how do you deal with it? I wrote a good article on this, I think, years ago in Premier Guitar, so you can find it. It's one of my Premier Guitar, God, what the hell was my column called? Tone Tips from the Road, I think it was called. You can find it in there, and I did there's a whole article. So just search my Pete Thorn Premier Guitar Tone Tips, and you'll find it in there. I can't offer any better advice than what I put down there. I mean, one of the main pieces of advice I gave was to find your kind of rock and roll spirit animal and try and internalize that. Like, what would they do? And mine was Jack White, because he's so kind of fearless and primitive in his approach. I'm a fan. I love what he does. But I love how he just kind of attacks the guitar, and it's not really about any kind of technical perfection, or it's about the show.
the guitar could quit working and he'd probably smash it and grab the mic and keep singing, and it would be great. You know, so that's my kind of, I try and channel that if I got any kind of stage fright. Like, remember what you're doing up here. It's entertainment. And if you get in the wrong headspace to remember to just like, you know, go for it. And like, what would he do? I start to think about it. And by instantly, you kind of like, you know, you embody that, like by turning off you go, well, what would they do? Oh, they would do this. And then you're like kind of in that headspace and you don't worry about it as much right away. It works for me. Commission for the recommendation. Thank you, Mike. Do you play any other instruments? If so, then how has it informed your guitar playing or music? Just bass, really. I mean, I started on violin. I guess that informed my tuning sensibilities because I had to, you know, I played violin for a couple of years before picking up the guitar, and you need to have good intonation on the violin. So I had worked on that at 9 years old, you know, like dialing in my intonation and my ear for playing, you know, scales and things on the violin. It's all, there's no frets. So that helped. You sounded great in Raleigh on Friday. Will there be a live video release from this tour? Thank you, Chris. You saw the smallest PA of the tour for sure. It was a tiny little sort of theater PA, but I'm glad you liked the show. It was a fun gig, actually. Will there be live video release? Well, we're working on videos right now that I think John's going to put up on YouTube and on. It's kind of more like, you know, quick mix, GoPro style, because we're filming the shows and stuff. But we'll see. We're getting better at it, like filming every show. And, you know, there'll definitely be some videos that come out. I don't know if it's like an official release, but you'll be able to see some things on YouTube and stuff, I think, here pretty quick, like probably within the next week. A couple things are going to go up. So a couple super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats. Have you had a chance to hear Igor Paspage? I'm going to say that wrong. Sorry, I have not. Sorry, I haven't. Yeah. Bladed fans can make a low frequency buffeting sound that can resonate with guitar strings or even cancel out string energy. Yeah, it's very strange. Well, there's a whole bunch of spam there, but I think Ben said that he blocked it. It's our favorite friends at the Love Chat XYZ Best Adult Dating Site. Oh, brother. Anyways, what time is it now? 11:28. Well, I guess I probably got to go to work pretty soon, but I'm gonna keep going for another maybe 10-15 here, and then I'll head off and do my job. What else we got here? Let's see. YYZ Adult Dating Site, exactly. Can someone tell the bots that we are guitar nerds? We don't care about adult dating sites. Well, you never know. A few of you out there may, you know, we're not going to discount that a few people might click on those and be like, oh, this is great. You just never know. Oh, hey, thanks for the super chat there, Guitar Tube. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You guys are too kind with your super chats. Keeps the coffee flowing around here. That's for sure. The TZ wasn't designed for VI. It was designed for EVH along with another pickup. Ed couldn't decide which pickup he likes between the two, so Steve Lukather picked for him. Interesting. Come on down to Spain. You know, I might do that. I've actually got a return ticket that goes through Barcelona, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why well, I know why, because it was cheap, but promoter bought me a ticket from Paris to LA via Barcelona. Possible I could decide when I'm over there to take the Paris to Barcelona jaunt, hang for a day or two there in Spain. I haven't been there for 15 years, I think. Yeah, something like that. I was in the north of Spain to play a festival with Chris Cornell in 2009. Before that, my last time in Spain was 2005, I think. So it's been forever, and I would love to visit Barcelona for a minute. Where was the show in Raleigh? It was at a theater downtown Raleigh, and I'm not going to remember the name, but it was a nice little theater, probably, you know, seats 1,200 or something like that. And I can't remember the name of it. Sorry. Have you run into thumpy frets, like wolf tones, I think they call them, on an acoustic? I don't think so. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I don't. I wish I knew. Wish I could help, be helpful. Is that like a dead spot, sort of, or like an extra bass on one note? Love the rig rundown, says Ryan. Thank you. Have you tried the Phase 95 in the QC? Not yet. I'm trying to remember if I've done the update, actually, that has the Phase 95 in it. I got to give it a try, though, and see. It's really cool they put one in there finally, that there's a real Phase. Now they just got to do the EVH flanger, and I'll be very stoked. How about the wah and cloning boost pedals? Is it worth simplifying? The wah is great, and the cloning of the boost pedals works killer. I mean, I've put a few in there. I've done a Coco, for example. I'm using a real Coco on this tour, but I've tried putting the Coco in there. Basically, it sounds really good. I mean, it's cool. Yes, you can simplify, and it works. I mean, I love the thing more than I should, I think, almost, more than I want to. It's a really, really good piece of gear, the Quad Cortex. It really, there's just no, I can't deny that it works just great, It's like, the reluctant, the tube amp guys that are reluctantly, loving some digital things. That's what we are. It's a really great piece of gear. Peter says, thanks for the early show videos this week. I know you mentioned, thank you, Peter, and thank you for the super chat so much. Videos this week, gonna do a video for the Zelzia. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure how you say it exactly, but it's the Strymon mod box that has phaser in it, actually, as well as some options for like chorusing and flanging all in one. It's a very interesting mod box that works really great. So I've got to edit it, and I need to get it done and just get it out. So I'll get that done this week. And get that out. That's the main one I got to get out on my YouTube channel this week, Strymon demo. And then I'll be back in a week and back in the studio and stuff next week to do more. I've got to get some videos done for a bunch of stuff that I missed. There's a new drive from Origin. They're probably not happy with me because they wanted me to finish it before I went on tour, but I just ran out of time. It's Screamer-esque, I think, but with its own thing going on, as usually the case with Origin. So there's some videos out on it already, so I'll get that done as soon as I get back. And yeah. Do you ever manage to do any guitar safari when out on the road? Rarely on this tour, just because of the sort of how we're doing things. We're driving, like right now I'm out in, I don't know where I am. I'm out beside a lake, and you get off the bus and you're in the countryside somewhere. I'm not generally in a city at a hotel. Now tomorrow, I will have a day off in Nashville, so you just made me think I should go to Gruen's tomorrow. And maybe, what else is there? Rumbleseat is in Nashville, right? Never been there. Is that cool? Where should I go? Haven't been to Nashville in a while to go guitar shopping. Maybe I should go by Vintage King. It's more like new stuff, but yeah, maybe I'll get out and jaunt around a little bit and see. I'd love to go to Gruen's and see what's going on there. That's where I bought my Strat in 2007. Oh boy, dangerous. About the Variac power station, can it be used with a Variac device like a brown box? You don't need a Variac with the Variac. The whole point of the Variac is clean power. It's not to generate tone. It's supposed to be very flat and reproduce whatever your amp's putting out. So the whole, you don't want to use the Variac with any kind of Variac or anything like that. The Variac is you could Variac an amp for the tone, like a Marshall, or, I mean, when I use my SL68, that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm running it at 90 volts. So it's in low voltage running into the Variac, getting loaded down, and then getting reamped clean. So I'm getting the clean tone of, whatever the accurate representation of that Variac amp at any volume. So, but you wouldn't want to plug the Variac into a Variac. Designed to be a transparent power amp, not a tone generator, really. Do you go to a lot of steakhouses on the road? I'm not a big red meat guy, but I do enjoy it every now and then. I had an unbelievable meal when I was at Sweetwater at a farm-to-table Wagyu beef style place that is just outside of Fort Wayne that they took us to, all the UA folks, and Tim Pierce, myself, Rhett Schull, a bunch of guys. We all ended up at the Mitch Gallagher, and we all ended up over at the steakhouse. I'm not going to remember the name. I'm sorry, but if you phoned the guys at Sweetwater and asked them, "What's that amazing Wagyu beef steakhouse?" They would go, "Oh, it's this," because it's a small town, basically. Okay, big city, small town. No, sorry, small city, big town. That's what I meant. Anyway, we were like, it was one of those meals where you got about 10 people sitting around a table and everybody's being silent once they start eating, and we were just looking at one another like, is this like, am I mistaken, or is this the best steak I've had in the last 15 years? It was unbelievable. But I'm not a big red meat guy. I enjoy it. I just try and limit it for health, and also for just like, as I get older, you're not supposed to have a ton of red meat, I don't think. But also I love cows, so I feel bad. Yeah. Niles says, Malta, I saw one of Rob Chapman's parties. I know he lives there. Yeah, I think I'm going to see him over there. Malta is an unbelievably historic place. There are 10,000-year-old ruins there. I can't wait to see it. Going to be really interesting. I'm going to hang there a little bit and check it out for sure. Is your signature guitar SSC equipped? Yes, the single coils are quiet on the new one, which I love. Can't stop thinking about the Keeley Halo. Get it, dude. It's great. Just do it. Sorry, that's not what you wanted to hear. Yeah. Fishbulb says he'd be apt to check out the Quad Cortex for a digital rig. I love the Neural plugins so much. That's the thing. If you like their plugins, you're going to like the way it works, because it's really similar. It's very simple and clean. I don't know how else to describe it. Not clean tone or whatever, but clean, the way that it operates ergonomically is very simple, and it's just cool. So, okay. What else we got here? Carter's in Nashville. Yeah, I should check out that place. Yeah, you should do more guitar reviews. I love them. I think many others do too. Yeah, I don't do too many guitar reviews because I have signature guitars, so it always seems a little bit, it's just because pedals are easy. Doing videos about vintage amps and things is easy. Historic pieces of gear, that's easy, But if I do reviews of great new guitars or show them off, then it kind of gets into like, well, now you're sort of doing promotion for things that are counter to your endorsements. Because I'm it's a weird, my thing is weird. I'm a YouTube guy and I do a lot of YouTube, and it's like a new thing where you get guys like Rabia or me or, people that have YouTube channels, and we have signature guitars, but we also do videos for products where, no, absolutely, full disclosure, we're working for companies making things, and that keeps us, you know what I mean? It's part of like the modern way of like, it seems like that, guitar players have gone where it's like, nobody's making a living off that one income stream of like going on the road. Well, some people are, but you got to be pretty lucky. It's more about that multiple income streams, gig economy kind of way to earn a living, right? And so I ethically or whatever with my companies and my relationships with people try and like be careful about what I'm doing. Like I don't make videos for, Fender guitars or PRS guitars if they're a directly competing thing to the company that I'm on board with, as an endorser. And with, it's just, I just don't. So, but I'll make a video for a Fender Acoustasonic. We don't have anything like that, so it's not and it's a great little piece of gear, So if there's something that I like and it doesn't seem to conflict, if it's nothing in the realm of, of what I have, then, as a signature thing, if I wanted to just open up the floodgates of like, I'm going to do everything, I would probably just say I'm not going to endorse anything anymore. You know, I'm not going to have a signature guitar or signature amps or whatever. That would be the only way I would feel good about it. I don't know. That's just me. Just the way that I, you know. So, hey, yeah. How do you choose the products to make a video for? Well, generally, you know, what happens is a company approaches me and says, we've got a new pedal coming out, for example. It's going to be out in October or whatever. Would you have time to make a video for it? And I'll say, sure. And I send everybody a disclaimer that says I have to like it. You know, if I get it and I can't get a sound out of it, if I don't think it sounds good, then I reserve the right to return it. So that's the main thing. As long as I can get a sound out of it, and I'm like, this is a great pedal, then I'll make a video for it. And basically they hire me, you know, to make the video. And yeah. And this is true too. Bogeyman says, I think Sir has a very relaxed attitude towards their artists using other gear brands. That's true. You'll see Mateus sometimes playing a Gretsch, or sometimes a Les Paul, or, you know, it's guitars that they don't really make, right? And he enjoys the sound of, or a baritone from another company. You know, you generally don't see him picking up a Strat or Telly that's just like his guitar, right? You know, his Sir, you know, he'll play other guitars sometimes, and they're cool with that, I think, if it's a really different, you know, guitar that doesn't conflict. And that's kind of, you know, he's maybe the best example of that, because he's so famous and everything. Everybody knows him out there these days. So, yeah. Rabia needs a good band around him. Such a waste if all he does is YouTube. Well, he does other things too. God, I just had that thing where my left ear just went. You ever have that, like, where it starts ringing and then goes a little deaf for a minute? Ugh, I hate that. Very strange. I think it's coming back slowly. Like, what is that? Kind of freaks me out. Plus, if you say something negative about a guitar, people will take it wrong. Yeah, I just, you know, generally speaking, it keeps my reviews positive. I just don't, you know, if I weed them out right at the beginning, if I don't do a video or whatever for an instrument that I don't think sounds good, you know, then I'm not saying this is great if I don't actually think so, you know. So, speaking of guitar Safari, is there a particular guitar piece of kit you're hunting for, kind of like your quest for the Explorer? Not right now. If I ever found another 54 Les Paul that was a decent price, that was maybe like my old one, like I would rebuy my old one if I could ever find it. It had a broken headstock, so headstock repair, and the top had been refinned in the 70s, so it was affordable when I got it. Well, I would buy it back again at this point because it was a great player, you know. So if I could find one that was a reasonable price, I would probably do it. What else we got here? Let's see. Probably time to go. I should probably get going pretty soon. It's 11:43. I'll hang for another 10. And then I'll split. I'll try and get to 2 hours here. Oh, look, it's the adult dating site is back again. Jesus Christ. BS, they say. Let's block the user. I'm sure Ben already got it. Or maybe not. Damn spammers. We should all go. Yeah. Let's all click on it next time. Have some fun with them. Okay. Let's see. I played an AC/DC tribute on bass, but fell head in love over heels with Malcolm's Tone. Hi. Oh, hi. Look at this. Yeah. Who's this? Hi. Wanna come visit? This dog has been hanging around all day. It's so cute. Having a drink over there. She belongs to the woman that runs the venue, I think. Fell in love with Malcolm Stone. Figure I could fill in for Malcolm Roll on guitar if needed, so got a Gretsch. Yeah, it's a great sound. Did you call up Steven Seagal to jam? No, I have not. But I hear he's a hell of a blues man. Is there a certain type of gear you have on your wish list but don't have yet? Similar question. Not really that I can think of right now. What do I wish I had? Dude, I don't want for anything right now, which is a good place to be, I guess. I'm really happy with my rig, and yeah, nothing comes to mind, to be honest. Not at the moment. Sir, are an example to any business of how to treat customers. I agree. My Ombre needed new tubes. I emailed for options. They paid for full shipping from UK to do circuit updates because mine was an older one. That's really good. That's just how John is. He's like, I want to update it. I want it to be perfect. We'll pay, He's wonderful that way. So the budget acoustic you did a few weeks ago. Yeah, like for example, I did a video for a guitar a couple months ago, I think it was, really, but it was for a Burroughs, right? I heard they were selling for $99 on some site somewhere recently. It was $159 when I did the review of it. It was a good, solid acoustic with a decent pickup in it that was like, well, I can make a video for this. This competes with nothing that I'm, a part of. And so that's something I can make a video of. But very cruel of a company not allow an endorsee to play another company's guitars, especially vintage. Yeah, I play vintage. It's, I'll use my vintage Strat or 335 or whatever. Like, that's just obvious, right? We do that sometimes. I just don't really use new, like I'm not going to go a new single Strat and, in videos and stuff. When I've got a great Sir that does that, that's my signature guitar. I mean, I wouldn't do it. It's not about them letting me. I don't even ask or want. It's, you know what I'm saying? So, okay. What else? Road cases? Somebody's asking about road cases. What do I use? I use SKBI series for my guitars now, which are like a molded style case that's basically indestructible. Other than that, I have a bunch of old cases that I had made at A&S. A&S made me a beautiful case last year for my Destroyer. Well, they didn't actually. So it's an I series that they foamed out and cut out for the Explorer. So it's a really, really great. What made you choose Alder in your new signature guitar? I love Alder as an even balanced kind of sounding wood with just overall tonal balance. It seems to be the most, like, Ash has a bit more of a scoop to it to me. Alder's always got nice mids. It just has, sounds really good. And it's a nice weight. And it looks good if you want to do a see-through, not that we do on my guitar, but there's a lot of things to like about it. It's not as pretty as Ash, I guess. Ash has beautiful grain. That's a question I already answered there. There's a super chat down there. I'm going to grab that. And then I think I got to split pretty soon, guys, because I just heard a snare drum out there. I got to go do sound check. As time goes on, do you find drifting more to the digital realm or going back to analog or hybrid? Well, I would say that that's probably accurate. I find myself drifting more to the digital realm out of convenience. That's exactly what happened on this tour, convenience and restriction as far as how am I going to ship gear around for the tour. I think I mentioned in the rig rundown, I have 3 fly dates. I didn't want to come up with 2 different rigs, one for the fly dates and then my full rig for the tour. So I thought I'm using the same thing for the whole thing. Then it'll be consistent. You get used to your pedal pushes on a board, and all that. And it's just, okay, in this gig, you want to make it easy. So although I have a board out here where I've got the Coco and a separate tuner and stuff, if I actually had to, I could go do this gig with just a quad Cortex, which I can throw in my backpack. I could literally fly to a gig. And if I rented a Marshall or whatever backline cabinet, and if I rented an acoustic I could rent an acoustic, a backline cabinet, and a Strat or something from a local backline company. And I could do the gig and have backup. It would basically sound the same as what I'm doing on this run in the PA, without, literally with stuff I could fly with. Not even have depends on the airline I'm on, but probably wouldn't even have an excess bag. So that there's no way to do that with traditional tube amps, I don't think. But I still love traditional tube amps. So if it's a full tour, that's when I'm going to use my amps, PT15, PT100. Okay, I got to run, guys. I can hear music happening out there, which means it's time to start check. So anyway, you guys are awesome, and thank you for all the super chats this week. Next week I'm traveling on Sunday, so I'll figure out if I can do it in an airport or if I'm going to reschedule it. Maybe I do it Sunday evening. I don't want to conflict with Ben's show, but I'll be home by a certain time on Sunday. Maybe I could do it Sunday night, but then again, I might just want to chill Sunday night after a whole day of travel and getting back from tour, in which case I might move it to Monday, and just change it for 1 week. But I'll let you know earlier than I did this week. This week I just 9 a.m. or something, I put it up on YouTube and on Facebook when I was going to go live. But anyways, I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Thanks for working with me on the the random times and stuff. Consistency is important. I know it's just tough to do sometimes when you're on the road to keep it consistent. All right, everybody have a great week. Thanks for joining me here in North Carolina. Everybody stay safe out there and rock and roll. Talk to you soon.